A hearty good morning to you all. We greet you here from South Africa, Patriot for Minorities NPC. NPC stands for Non-Profit Company, and we are the company that acts on behalf of the minorities in South Africa. The minorities in South Africa has no specific rights and no specific protection from government abuse or from abuse from the vast majority in South Africa. And we are a non-profit company that tries to step in where the rights of minorities are trampled upon by the government or by the majority, and where the minority groups are bullied and harassed and intimidated. That is our function, and we have been doing this now for the past almost 2 years. Next to me is Elsie Jain, another director. We are 3 directors. The third director is Wessel Basson. He's not on this specific video, but you will see him on lots of other videos on this channel. Elsie, I think you should just inform people about the meaning of Patriot.
Yeah, we decided on the name Patriot because if you look at the definition for what is a patriot is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. And that is what we have, love for our country, South Africa. We are all born in South Africa, and we believe we are patriots of South Africa. And that's why we choose the name Patriot. But we specialize in minority groups, which is in need of protection in South Africa. The mission.
Right. Our mission here at Patriot for Minorities is to protect ethnic minorities, minority groups from abuse, like physical violence perpetrated against minorities, and also psychological violence or onslaughts against the minorities. For instance, minorities are portrayed as something evil or something less than human, or groups that are of lesser importance, whose culture could be ignored. And in general, minorities are regarded by the majority in South Africa as a nuisance, and that they should be assimilated into the vast black majority and become part of the majority culture and traditions. And we say no. They are a brown minority or colored minority. They are the Khoi and the San minorities. There is also the Indian minority. And then there are also several black minorities in South Africa that they are just ignored by the government, and their existence is regarded as irrelevant. There's also the Afrikaner minority, of which I am part of, and we are also regarded by the ANC government as a nuisance and as an irrelevant part of South Africa. And that's why we are trying to protect these minorities, and we also step in where we see injustice perpetrated against these minorities.
The human rights of every South African citizen is contained in Chapter 2 of our Constitution. But we have the experience that when a minority tries to enforce his or her human right against a majority, he doesn't stand a chance to be helped. The Human Rights Commission that is there to protect the rights of each and every citizen doesn't favor in their judgments any minority request. So we need people to stand together, to form a pressure group and to approach the Human Rights Commission as a group to get more judgments in our favor. And Patriots for Minority is there to assist you to take your complaints to the Human Rights Commission.
Look, the Patriot for Minorities NPC, we are also, part of our mission is to protect the language of all minority groups in South Africa, and to protect the culture, the unique and culture that pertains to each and every minority group, and also to protect the history of these minorities. Because the cultural history and language of minorities in South Africa are disregarded and regarded as irrelevant and just a nuisance that can be ignored. Although the Constitution of South Africa tries to guarantee these cultural and language rights, in practice it doesn't happen. And that's where Patriot for Minorities steps in, and we try to protect and even advance these rights. In the Constitution of South Africa, there are no particular protection for minorities, only for individuals. And that's where the problem, that lies at the heart of the problem, as far as minority groups and ethnic minorities are concerned in South Africa. Now, how we think here at Patriot for Minorities is in terms of Section 235 of the South African Constitution. There is a right, every minority in every ethnic group has a right to its own language and culture and traditions. And in terms of Section 235, we want to advance and strengthen those rights. And for that purpose, we are working towards a goal. That goal being that each ethnic minority has its own say about its culture, its statutes, its language, and its traditions. We don't want the majority to make rules and decisions about the minorities' rights as to culture, language, and traditions. We don't want that. We want each and every minority to decide about its own rights to culture, language, and tradition. Not the majority. Each ethnic minority has the right to determine and decide on its own traditions, culture, and language. And this is lies at the heart of the problem here in South Africa, is that the majority makes rules for the minorities, and we just have to fall into line, and we have to toe the line. And that is where Section 235 comes into play.
Yeah, Section 235 is a section that deals with self-determination, and if you use that word, it's like apartheid, it's like a swear word in South Africa.
Smear.
Yeah.
Smear.
But nobody needs to sell their home, sell their business, pack up everything and move to Urania. That's not what we see as self-determination. The ANC government won't bring a piece of land to us on a tray and say, here's a piece of land, go and rule yourself in this piece of land. They will never do that. But what's happening in South Africa now is the opportunity to take over is open. And it's open per municipality. The municipalities go bankrupt. They are totally unable to supply water, to deal with the sewage in the town. There's a huge electricity problem. The streets are gone. So the collapse is starting to happen in South Africa. And when there's no administration in a municipality, or no effective administration in a municipality, it is a golden opportunity for the citizens of that municipality to stand together and take over the municipality, take over the waterworks, take over the sewage, take over the roads, take over all the engineering, and collect the taxes from your co-citizens. And that, if one town starts, that town is self-determining. And then the next town does it, and the next town, and as it grows, we will have self-determination in certain areas through the country. It will work very much like in Switzerland, where every town has its own deciding government, and they decide on the schools, the churches, the taxes, the language that will be used, and all the law enforcement. They even have their own courts, their own police station, and at the end, if we can take over town by town, we will end up with certain towns that will have self-determination, and that's the only way we will have self-determination in South Africa. But I don't say go and take it over now. There is a legal process which need to be followed, and Patriot for Minorities is there to assist the citizens of certain towns to take over the town and show the people how it's done. If you are a supporter of Patriots for Minorities and you make a small contribution to our funding, because everything we do need funds, then we return the favor. And the favor we return is we give you 24/7 legal assistance. If you run into any legal battle, it doesn't matter if it's civil or criminal or whatever, we will assist you. We will give you immediate advice, what to do and what not to do.
And that's more important than it sounds at first glance. to get the correct legal advice right at the start of any incident is probably one of the most important factors in any case or matter that eventually ends in court. It's very important to get the right advice, legal advice.
We are planning to make videos of cases we dealt with before, and if we go through that information, you will see how important this first 24 hours is. But I don't want to make this video too long, so we'll talk in later videos about that. We will also assist people in applications to the Equality Court, in the Harassment Court, and in front of the Human Rights Commission. It is very important that those applications is correctly done in order for us to succeed, to get the correct orders. If you have a fatal application, your case is going to fail.
Fatally flawed.
Fatally flawed. It's going to fail. So if you have the correct assistance to formulate your application correctly, we will get more success, which will help all the people in minority groups, because we start moving towards a direction. We also have a lawyer that's an expert in estates and wills, who is willing to help people draw up a will for free assistance to draw up a will. And then the last item which we give for free is assistance if you are unlawfully arrested. Now
that is happening more and more often in South Africa, where the police are. What can we say about the police? Where the police is either doing nothing when crimes are perpetrated in their prisons, or where there's actually no crime, they go overboard and arrest people. We have seen some of this last year with the mask thing and people on the beaches. While according to the ANC, more than 80% of our train stations have been plundered to
ruins. Yeah.
During the lockdown period. They were actually chasing and you can even say hunting and persecuting and prosecuting people for not wearing masks, while our train stations right through South Africa, more than 80%, according to the ANC's own acknowledgement, own admittance, were plundered. Right to only ruins were left, and that's a problem with the police. They will do their utmost to try and prosecute someone and arrest someone for not wearing a mask, but plundering and looting are okay as long as you wear a mask. That's summing it up in a few sentences.
Yeah, if we say we assist you, we see more and more that in an incident the victim are arrested and the perpetrator is protected by the police. We will get you out of prison, whatever it takes. And furthermore, we will also sue the Minister of Police, Becky Cele, for that unlawful arrest. The police must start paying for their mistakes, and we do those cases for free. So, be a supporter of Patriot for Minorities. If you don't need our assistance, your money goes for a very good
your money goes to help other people.
And it goes for a good purpose. At the end, it will help somebody and it will help minorities in South Africa. And I think that's all, Marius. Do you have anything to add?
No, that's in a nutshell. We can talk for hours, but that's in a nutshell what we
will
are
follow it up with
for.
more videos, but that is who we are. And we're glad to meet you. Goodbye.
Bye, thank you.